There's really only three primary processors that provide about 85% of the beef to all of North America. It's one of the problems that we're kind of trying to fix right now, like the Alabama Cattlemen Association, which I'm a board member of. It's something that each state's trying to work on because these three big processors, they found faster, quicker ways to get that 1 pound on that cow. And a lot of the ways that they're using to do it, once again, going back to science, isn't a clean grain. It's not a clean piece of forage. And when I say forage, I mean grass, hay, what they're eating off of the ground. That's their forage. It's not clean. It's been had a lot of additives put in it so that cow, for a brief example, my cattle put on about 85 pounds per month. My bull I'm using to service all of my cows and heifers, he's right at 1,300 pounds. He's 2.5 years old. And with him, he has to have a certain type of forage. He's got to have a certain type of grass to be able to put that on in a healthy manner so that himself as the animal, he's not dealing with joint issues and hoof issues and pink eye. And just like a human deals with all this different stuff, a cow deals with it as well, which of course makes it where me as the farmer, if he does get any of these things, I've got to start injecting antibiotics and I've got to start doing all these evasive maneuvers to try and keep him healthy. So back to the piece of beef that's coming to your table, these larger processors are taking processed pellets, and in that processed pellet, it's in a bag like dog food. In a lot of these processed pellets, they're compressed. There's a lot of different additives in it that come out of a laboratory and not out of the soil. Well, all of that directly relates to a piece of beef that's going to increase your levels of sodium faster than what you would like. It's going to increase, leading to higher blood pressure, leading to cholesterol issues and gout and other things of that nature. So that's why it's so important, especially when it comes to beef, that you're doing your best. And it's hard to background every piece of beef that you find, but do your best to find beef that has been naturally grown as best as possible. My cattle are grass-fed, grain-finished. I always explain that. And if someone requests one that's 100% grass-fed, I have no problem with that. And what that process looks like is about 90% of their lifespan before they go to the butcher, they're eating straight, clean grass. The fertilizer that's used is actually chicken manure. So it's 100% a natural fertilizer that's going in there. And the land's cultivated simply by me moving the cattle around and forcing them to fertilize a lot of their own area. From there, when it comes down to about their last 45 days before butcher, they'll begin to get about 3 pounds, 3 to 5 pounds a day of a particular grain mix that just me, myself, I sat down and played with some different formulas and some different grains and some different additives to figure out what worked best for my cows that turned into a good tasting steak that didn't give you heartburn. And, and that's where it came from. And I have no problem. I don't have a cup of it here with me. I meant to bring a cup, but everything that even goes into my grain finishing is 100% a grain that you can walk out into a farmer's field and pull out the ground. It's not something that came out of a lab somewhere that was baked and cooked to make it taste good and all that, because all of those feeds that they make that has those elements in it to make it taste good and palatable for the cow, there had to be a chemical added to that grain to add that flavor. And typically it's not natural. With mine, I naturally add molasses to all of my feed.